It's still happening.
Hey,
I've done it myself many times.
Kim, are you out there? Got your ears on? Hey, we need to talk about Aquafest and maybe a pickleball tournament for Aquafest.
Well, there shouldn't be any maybe about it. Let's just do it.
That's what I'm talking about. It's got to talk logistics and details.
So welcome to the board.
We'll see.
No, if you're going to run a pickleball contest, you have to be the board on the board in order to do that.
Okay, I guess
That's so you can get part of the budget and all that. So yeah. So
Sounds
we'll
like
do.
He drives a tough deal.
The next at the
I know.
Aquafest meeting we have, and we'll have you in there, and the board will vote to have you as a board member and have a pickleball tournament.
Great. What year? What time is pickleball this year? What?
And once you get on the board, I'm never going to let you leave. So
We'll see. What? When is Aquafest this year? What's the dates?
the last weekend of July,
Last weekend.
29th, I think it's 28th, 29th and 30th. I think.
29, 30th of July.
I don't know. Let me look at it. I got to look at the calendar, make sure I'm right.
Well, I don't want to hold up our meeting. I can look too.
Dennis, do you mean to be muted?
29th and 29th, 30th and 31st.
29, 30th.
Old
and 30th.
habits.
So we only have 5.
We need one more for a quorum.
Yeah. Yeah, one more. I am live streaming the meeting right now. We can, oh, here comes Sean. We're good.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, we only have 10 members now too, don't we? With Carmen gone, so.
Well, yeah, and I was going to make a mention of that. So for Gail, her term officially expired on December 31st. She has graciously said that she will stay on until I can find a replacement. So potentially not potentially, I'm recruiting for 2 open spots right now, but unfortunately I had one great candidate, but he was not in our UGA or in our city. So unfortunately he didn't qualify, but I haven't had any other interest. So.
And while we're on this topic, I almost hate to bring it up, but since all 3 council members are here, at our last meeting, you guys were, I think it was the next night, you were going to have your council meeting. So have you all re-upped? Are you all going to stay on?
Sorry, Kevin, I better start the meeting. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Okay, I guess we should start. We've got a quorum. We'll call to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
to the
republic
republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't even have a flag to look at.
I use my imagination.
Okay. Roll call. Could you help us with that, Kelly?
Sure. I'm just going to bring Vernon in. Hold on real quick. So I will not call Commissioner Hilt or Commissioner Welch since they have let me know that they are feeling ill and will not be at the meeting tonight. So they are absent. Commissioner Daughtry.
I am here. Sorry, I'm late.
Thanks. I see Commissioner Daughtry, but I don't hear you.
This is Vern Rasmussen.
Tree was still up.
Thanks, Vern. Can't hear you. I see your swimming. I'll let you work on your mic. Commissioner Daughtry is here. Commissioner Tagent.
Present.
Commissioner Hayden. Commissioner McLarnon.
Here.
Commissioner Frederick.
Here.
Commissioner Rasmussen.
Here.
Commissioner Ives.
Here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you.
Great. Does someone want to make a motion to dismiss the absent commissioners?
So
I
moved.
mo- I motion to dismiss the absent commissioners.
Thank you. And I think I heard a second in there.
Commissioner Frederick?
Second.
Yes. Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. Moving on to public comment. I don't think we have anyone from the public here, do we?
No, there is nobody in the waiting room.
Okay. So next item is the meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve or amend?
I move to approve the minutes from January 3rd, 2022.
I
Second.
second.
Kevin's frozen.
Kevin is
Kelly,
still
you're
frozen.
muted.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Thank you. My video froze, so you probably figured out. Okay, what's next here? Okay, moving on to the items. We talked a lot last time about the work plan, so I thought we could streamline it. There's been no changes. Well, I have one minor change from what I sent out 3 weeks ago. And I guess I'll just mention that is we had talked about, we added an item that was, I labeled it as partner network. It's really to continue the outreach to partners. And I left that off the front sheet. So all I did was add that word partner, or 2 words, partner network, to the list of things on the front sheet. Other than that, I'm not aware of any changes. Does anyone have any updates or changes that they want to make?
Kevin, if you'd like me to share it, I'm happy to do so, but maybe we've already looked at it enough.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt to throw it up there, but hopefully people are somewhat familiar with it.
Maybe you could just touch on each line and we can just move on.
Yeah, well, I was hoping actually we've reviewed this a bunch. If there's no changes, okay, well, Kelly, to your point, on this page, I added the partner network as one of the bullet items, okay? Nothing else changes. If we go to the next page, what I would suggest is if no one has, changes to make, my recommendation would be, remove the bubbles in orange, right? That was just our notes for discussion, and also remove the people's names on the far left. I'd like to keep those for our meetings so we're all comfortable in who the focal points are, but that's not something we'd be sharing out with the council.
I have a question.
Sure.
The thing that one of the things we were supposed to do as Veterans Commission was to set up the offices at the food bank for the community services and things like that. Is that covered under the Veteran Service Officer BSO support? Is that where are we saying that that's in there? Or is it someplace else? Or should we call it out in another line item? And by the way, and a little later, I will be talking about that because I had a meeting with somebody that is important to have a meeting with.
Great. So I think we could go, my own 2 cents is we could go either way, right? It certainly could fit in under the VSO because I think that's at least where I've heard it most. But as you said, it's I think a little bigger than the VSO in intent, so it could be a separate line item.
Well, you also have in there, establish and maintain partnerships with local civic organizations and providers. So it might fit within that, that whole paragraph of Veteran Service Officer support.
Right.
So I don't necessarily want to see it as a line item, but I think it ought to be talked to.
And Cam, could you re-enumerate what the comment was about it? I didn't quite understand what you said.
We are supposed to, as a Veterans Commission, we were set to a task by the council, basically, and the mayor to help get the food bank built so we could have our offices there. And they're calling them the Veterans Commission offices, which we all know is not really going to be true. But what it is in reality is offices for the community services of different people to be able to come in and do things such as the Veterans Administration sending in a VSO once a week or once a month, or any other organization that needs office hours here in Lake Stevens to help our residents. So we were tasked to do that. We have done that in actuality. And I had a meeting this last week with with some people that are helping with that, which we'll discuss. But what my comment is does that fit underneath the Veteran Service Officer support? And I kind of think it does.
I would agree with that. And certainly I can talk to it under that bullet item as well, Kim.
Right.
To your point.
Okay. And that's all I think.
And what is it that we can do to help get the building built? Is that financial assistance? Or was there other ways?
Well, what we were supposed to do was be in the conversation for the offices and what those were going to be used for. And and we have done that.
Okay, I understand now.
Okay, so Kim, are you comfortable with leaving it as is and just talking to it? Or if not, just throw out some words. I think we've certainly got time to fix this, change it.
I'm comfortable. Is everybody else comfortable with it being under there?
Yes.
That was a John Spencer thing anyway, right? He's the one that set the task.
Are we setting money aside to pay a VSO?
Anything else?
Who's we?
The commission or the city or somebody?
Nobody is yet, but that's something we need to discuss.
It would
Well,
be on the foundation.
I have in front of me the Veteran Service Officer slot for Snohomish County, and it's 60 to 72,000 a year. Now, granted, that's for a whole county, but that's the only thing I've seen so far.
So what I'm going to suggest, and sorry, my connection is a little unstable again, but let's hold the actual VSO discussion. I think we've got an agenda item for that, and try to focus in on finalizing this paperwork rather than diving into the details, if everyone else is comfortable with that approach.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other changes to the wording or additions that anyone wants to propose? So hearing none, does anyone want to make a motion to accept this?
I move to approve the work plan for Kevin to give to the council on the 22nd of February.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Are you guys all ready to vote?
And that would include your removing of names and balloons. Is that correct? Very good.
Yes, I'll look to Kim to nod, but yes, I would get rid of the names and the balloons, as I mentioned before. Thanks, I see the nod. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the ayes have it.
So Kevin, if I can just clarify, this will be a joint meeting with the commission and the council, correct? So you all or whoever can make it will be there. And then we'll have the different presenters for the different items, mainly you, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I assume that's what we did the last time, I think.
Okay. No, I think that's great because some of the other boards and commissions have had the joint meetings with council. So I think it's Veterans Commission time. So it's good.
So is the date for that council meeting set now or?
February 22nd. So it'll be a hybrid meeting, which means that we'll have a virtual option or in person at the mill. So as it gets closer, I'll make sure you all know about that meeting and how to access that meeting as far as a login or coming in person.
Great.
Very good.
The other thing I'd like to do in regards to the meeting is the last page. We also had this discussion item, which I think is separate from our work plan, but at our last meeting, we all agreed that we would bring it forward. So Kelly, if you don't mind, could you just put that up again? And
Sure.
I'd like to take us through the same steps. First, ask if anyone has any additions or updates to it. And then if not, is there a motion to approve?
I guess I will ask the question, exactly what is the motion you're looking for to be approved?
Yeah, thanks. Good clarifying question, Sean. And approve may be a strong word, or at least I'm looking for a motion that we still want to bring this forward as an item to bring to the council's attention at this meeting, and that everyone's comfortable with the wording.
I think maybe we ought to just add that to our work plan
Yeah,
as something that we're going to work on with the city to make this happen one way or the other.
agreed.
So I have a question. I don't know how this fits into a work plan, because I think we were saying it's
Well, I think it works. I think it fits into the work plan because it's a concern of ours. And we're going to
concern,
bring
right?
in,
We haven't been empowered to do anything. I certainly would want to talk to it in the same, blob of time, but I'm not sure if I broke up there, but I'm not sure it's actually a work item for us, right? It's something we're bringing to their awareness of concern.
so the problem with that is bringing something to their awareness without any kind of a plan to work on it doesn't really work. I mean, yeah, we give it their awareness. I've actually been aware of it because I said it at a council meeting one night. But if we were going to bring this forward as a concern, I think that we ought to put it as a work plan. As this is our concern, and we're going to work with the city in order to fix it.
Okay, I don't mean to be doing the for and against thing, but didn't we say as a group at the last meeting that it would be up to the council to charter us to do this, because this is beyond our scope right now, right? Because it's really a staff issue, isn't it?
Well, I guess I could agree to go that direction, but I would say that as a commission, if we see something wrong that has something to do with what we're all about, we ought to be bringing it up and fixing it. There might not be other commissions that have that ability, but I think we certainly have that ability.
Okay, fair point. How do other people feel?
I think we
guess,
should add it to the work plan.
I guess having a work plan where we can identify needs and we have, and how we can, what we could do to resolve them. And then, I think just to throw it out into space is not going to ever get them done. Somebody needs to follow up, and that could well be us, I think.
I think this is a great opportunity for us to channel the youth commission. How would they approach this? They'd identify it as a need. They'd probably look for individuals that similarly thought that something needed to be done. They'd probably make some phone calls either to legislative members, other interested parties, community groups, and talk about what can be done to marshal resources to fix these things, and probably go about it that way. And there's certainly lots of tangents where that definitely falls within the realm of things that the Veterans Commission could be doing. I mean, that's how the teenagers would tackle it, because that's what they're doing about things like sidewalks and what they view as high value streets where there's lots of foot traffic.
Have we lost Kevin completely?
I muted my
Oh, okay.
I muted my video just to try to. I lost you guys and it froze on me again. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep a better connection. So I
if
apologize,
we-
Sean. I didn't hear a lot of what you said. I guess if we're going to add it to the work plan, my basic question is, what work plan item would it be part of? Who would lead it? And what's the action we're actually trying to do? Because again, I don't mean to be the one that's confused, but this is different than what we talked about at the other meetings, I think.
Well, I guess who would lead it is a conversation to be had. But I think where we talk about community action, that bullet, the same bullet where we kind of talked about the VSO and what would be done there, I think it sort of fits in that group, in that grouping of items. So I would offer that as a starting point if we want to do a deep dive on where this belongs.
I think it belongs in the increased community awareness.
Yeah, the reason I'm going here is because, and again, this may be me, so you guys can stop me if you think I'm getting too focused on it. But I think in the past, sometimes we say we want to do stuff and then it doesn't go anywhere, right? So one of the things I'm trying to do is, if we want to take on something new, I want to understand, who's driving it and what's the outcome we're really expecting to have happen. And I thought we were going in a different direction on this item. That's why I'm trying to nail it down, especially if we're going to present it to the city council, that this is something we're going to do.
Well, as part of the American Legion, I'm quite concerned that the War Memorial is the best presented thing for the community. And so I have energy around assisting that work if that would fit in. And whether or not it goes under the BSO, it kind of is more under partner network, in the sense that we're going to select, call on other groups to help with the work, the actual doing of the work, as long as someone like myself and maybe one other member of the commission was there to help move the thing along.
Thanks, Vern. And by doing the work, are you sort of speaking to that second bullet around the general operational maintenance, replacing the flags and things like that? Or are you thinking of the planning and the issue with it not being treated right at public events? I mean, where we
not doing the work, but doing the legwork to get it all onto someone's work list so that they can follow up in a monthly, quarterly, whatever option that works out. Someone needs to help get that identified and on other people's work list, so that it's just kind of one more little thing on a monthly or a quarterly basis that gets taken care of by the city. And just to expect them to do it is kind of far-fetched, because it's not going to happen. So it's just a matter of finding out who has the authority to add each little item to the work list, and make sure that it's covered. There's a fair amount of legwork involved, and I need to get more acquainted with the city folks anyway. So I'll just use that as a stepping stone to learn who does what in the city.
I would move that we make this a separate line item under increased community awareness, which is, and it just include this entire discussion item down here as that line item. All 3 bullets. And I mean, it's a work item, so we're going to work on trying to answer these 3 questions because there's 3 distinct questions in here. I mean, just yesterday or day before yesterday, I was downtown just kind of looking around at the new mill spur, and there was 2 teenagers standing on the war memorial. So I went over, told them to get the heck off of there, and they need to show a little respect. And they just giggled and said sorry and walked away. But that's just ridiculous. So that takes care. There's this the top one is how do we get the general public to understand about the war memorial. And then the maintenance responsibility, flag replacement, all that kind of stuff is a work item, figuring out who's going to do what, when, and who's going to pay for it, which could include anybody like the Veterans Foundation. And then the future planning responsibilities for the 6th service branch being established, and put that on the war memorial. That's going to be a long-term thing, but it's just one line item of things we need to do. And I don't think there's anybody else in the city that could have this on a work plan other than us.
Kim, is that a motion? You
Yeah, that
started
was
with,
a long-winded motion to put this on as another line item underneath increased community awareness.
I think for right now, I'll second the motion because I think let's get it moving forward.
Yep. Okay, I've got a motion that I think you all heard. It's been seconded. Welcome, Samara. Sorry I didn't see you there before. Any further discussion, or is everyone ready to vote?
Vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now, I think we're done with this item, and we are ready to move on to the next agenda item.
Okay, so
Actually, Dennis, one thing excuse me, Vern, one thing I forgot. Did you by chance happen to get in touch with the police chief about the disaster emergency planning kind of stuff?
I haven't had a chance to, but I'll do it this week.
Okay, I'm going to assume that it's still on hold, but let me know if there's if there's any movement afoot, so we don't sound silly and say it's on hold and somebody else comes in the next meeting and says it's happening.
Okay, I'll get him to call in today or this week.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's move on to the next agenda item. Let me get back there.
So, Kevin, for our purpose, on our copy with the names, you'll add my name. And if later someone else would like to assist, we can increase that, but that'll be fine.
Yeah, thank you, Vern. Hopefully we'll get a second person to help with that. Agreed. Okay, the next item, I think, Kim, is a debrief on the council you're on, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right, so the Military Affairs Committee meets once a quarter. I think is going to start meeting once a week. They had made up their mind at the last meeting about it. The only thing that they really discussed, and it was a short meeting, the only thing they really discussed was legislative session coming up and what might be on there that would affect veterans in the area. And so because the session hadn't even started yet, they wouldn't really know, but there's 2 people on the committee that are actually watching that. I started looking at it. I didn't see anything that was really going to be of interest to veterans. Another thing they talked about was what we need to do to make sure that we don't be on a BRAC list, which there's no BRAC list out there right now, so it's not a big deal, but we're always watching for that. And they also don't think that Everett will ever be on a BRAC list because we're one of the only deep water ports on the whole West Coast. So it's really hard to take a relatively new military base with a deep water port, get rid of it. Although you never know what the government's going to do. So, and then there was, I discussed the Veterans Commission and the Veterans Foundation, and I just let them know we're there and we're looking for partnerships. And I got a couple of people interested in talking to me about that later. We haven't connected, and that's pretty much it.
Thanks, Kim. Any questions or from anyone on that topic? Okay, let us know about the outreach stuff. I know Kurt wanted to start that up again, and thanks for getting a jump start on it.
Okay.
Okay, the next agenda item is VSO update. Now, I think, Vern, I'm going to look to you and Gail. I know Debbie was doing some work, but she's out. So any updates for us on this front?
The woman that was doing this for us out of her heart is an accredited VSO, so she can get into veterans records and all of that. However, right now she's struggling with the aftermath of having COVID pneumonia and is trying to get her life back together. Her lungs and her heart aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I think there was some discussion before, and Gail, you weren't at this last meeting. I think that there was an effort was going to be underway to kind of get our arms around. Is there what VSO resources are in the county and how we might leverage them? And I'll just stop there. Maybe that's ringing some bells for people. I'm guessing maybe, I know Gail, you weren't at the meeting, so I wouldn't expect you to have any awareness of this, but Vern, is this ringing any bells with you, or did you have any maybe discussions with Debbie about it, or?
No, I didn't have any discussions. I do remember discussing a little bit about it, and there is a number of things in the county, in Everett and whatnot, and it seemed like we were going to try to put together some kind of a list of things so that if veterans come to us as a commission and need help, we would, don't have to start all over and go find it. We can kind of pull it together, but I don't remember who was going to do that.
So one of the things that I talked to somebody out at the Military Affairs Committee is who the VSO was for the county. They know that there is one, but they didn't know who it was, but they knew who to contact on it. And so I need to get back with that person and see if I can find out who the VSO is.
Well, I just saw an ad for a new one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it may be empty at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We do know that only the county can have a certified VSO. The city cannot. Veterans Commission cannot. Legion, I don't know if you can or not. I think you can. But I think it has to be done on the state level. I don't know if it can be done at the 181 level. I think it has to be done on the state level. So our hands are tied on getting any of us to be certified as a VSO.
Well, Vern and I both were, but because of COVID, it only lasts for a year. So we're just sitting waiting for more training to come in.
So you can do that as the Legion?
Yep.
Through the department, which is state, they do the training, and then once you're trained, then we can help people get with their paperwork, but then it has to go to the VA for final review. So we can do some of the legwork and getting the people ready.
So
but it has to be somebody that is
trained. Are you describing an actual VSO, or are you or a VSO helper?
No, it's a certified VSO.
Okay, then I'm wrong on that one. I thought it was a state level at the Legion. So if we're just waiting for COVID to get over, it looks like we could get some Legion people to be VSOs, and that would help us out.
Let me jump in for a sec, Vern and Gail. Was the access you guys had? I think what you were saying, Vern, is you don't have access to the actual VA database, right? So you wouldn't be able to go on and see.
That would be an accredited
Right.
VSO.
So that's the distinction I think that Kim was on without, we didn't have the right words, right?
Well, and like I said, that's what Jeannie is.
Right.
That's what she does. She's just having some issues right now.
So I have a suggestion that I want to float to you guys. Why don't, I'm comfortable taking an action to try to reach out to the person, see if there is a person in the role, and try to invite them to our next meeting or whatever meeting they can come to, so that a lot of our questions can get answered. Perhaps if there isn't, maybe Gail, I could, with your help, ask Jeannie to speak at one of our meetings. Just, there's a lot of questions and I think we're lacking a lot of information that I know Jeannie could help us with, or the Everett VSO could help us with.
Right. But right now, as I said, she's trying to recover from COVID pneumonia and her heart and lungs aren't working the way they're supposed to. So she's got a lot of doctor's appointments. I can talk to her about it and see.
We're talking another month or two ahead, so.
Yeah,
maybe
we can start with the person in Everett, the Snohomish person, so that if there is one, we don't have to bother her while she's recovering. Or maybe she can just point us to someone else if we need to ask her and she's not feeling up to it. But I think if we could get some information, that would help us all. That would be my thought.
That would be a help, yeah.
Right, I'll find out from the county who it is or where it is, who is in charge of it, what department has it. I'll find that out this week. And at least have that information and get that out to you via email.
Thanks. And I'm happy to follow up and try to, chase someone down to come to a meeting and talk to us about it, so we're all on the same page.
Good.
Okay. Anything else on VSO? Okay, moving on to new business. Any new business discussion?
I have some. I had a meeting the other day with the CEO and VOA, Volunteers of America, and the director for the Lake Stevens Community Resource Center that is over at one of the churches right now that and basically that's taken over where we used to have a family center. Now it's a community resource center taken on by the VSO. They took that on because of Brett or the mayor and myself having a discussion with them about getting ours back because we lost it. They have taken that on and they are doing it out of pocket. So there's no funding stream coming in for them. So one of the things they're concerned with is trying to be able to get a funding stream to help offset some of those costs. They do have 2 people now working in the Community Resource Center, and they are paying rent on that space from the church. Their numbers continue to increase for people in Lake Stevens being using their services, and a lot of those are veterans. So our discussion revolved around getting them in place in the new food bank when it's built, and having a way for the VSO to have office hours, et cetera, et cetera. So they're well versed on what that's all about and what else and who else we could have in there, like WorkSource or, maybe Housing Hope or whatever in there once in a while. So they readily agreed to doing that because that's what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm getting them a list of donors for the family center that we used to have, so they can reach out to them and see if we can regenerate some of those funds. And that's about it. But they're doing good work and we need to support them. So they're one of our partners.
So where are they meeting currently?
I can't remember the name of the church. I knew you were going to ask me that. I cannot remember the name of the church. I'll find out and let you know.
Okay.
I think it's the church right off of by Frontier, right by the gym, right? Isn't it that church?
I think it is, but I can't verify that.
Hey, Kim,
Yep.
did you say it's being run by VOA?
Yeah, Volunteers of America. Yep.
We met, I had a few phone calls with the woman who's there, and she offered us space even in their current space if we can get a VSO to come back.
Yeah, they
said,
do have,
they
they
would
do
make
have,
space.
they do have room right now. Yep.
Okay, good update. Anyone else have anything new? I assume the coffee klatch is off as an in-person thing for February. Is that?
Yeah, according to our minutes from last time, we decided to put it off for a while. But I think we should start them back up.
I'd agree with that.
Says the commission spoke about not having any in-person coffee clashes until at least mid-February or March due to COVID. And we were going to try to start holding some outside gatherings once the weather gets a little nicer. It was 42 degrees today, so that's nicer.
If it stays that way.
Right. So, but I think we only, Deb's not here, but I think we probably just canceled the January one on Facebook notification. So we should probably, if we are going to cancel February, then, I'll try to reach out to Deb to make sure we notify people.
I would rather not. Marcus, could you get it at Buzz In again? Saturday, third Saturday would be
February 19th. It is President's Day weekend, but I don't know if that matters.
not to the veterans.
Okay.
Yeah, the 19th. You're right.
I can check. Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yep. The 19th.
Yep, 19th, 8 o'clock.
Okay, good. Anything else? Anything for upcoming meetings, different agenda items? I guess
We'll
our
see
next. Go
We'll
ahead.
see if there's anything from the council on the 22nd.
Right. Right. Okay. I think we're at everyone's favorite part of the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Do we hear a second? I'll second. Motion is made and seconded. I assume everyone's in favor.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you on the 22nd.
Sean, can I ask you a quick question while I have you
Sure.
regarding council stuff? Let me just get off recording here.